Okay, welcome. This is another knee-jerk reaction video review. It's a knee-jerk reaction because I just finished watching the movie. I don't wait to have it processed in my brain. I try not to read any trivia or anything on it. I just give you my knee-jerk reaction to the movie. Today's movie is called Kung Fu Yoga, and it's a Jackie Chan movie. And I labeled this on YouTube as kind of a strange review because I'm going to give you some things, just some background on myself before I give the review. One is I'm not a big fan of feng shui as far as a mystical art, but I do think there's some good principles there. And when I was setting up my bedroom, I had a roommate at the time, so I had to fit everything in my bedroom. And what I did, part of the process is you don't want your back facing the door. So I set my desk up facing the door. And then I set my bed up also facing the door. And then after this was all set up, I set up my computer. And what I didn't realize was that, at the time, I laid in bed one night, and, my computer's a simple setup. It's a laptop with a monitor on a swing arm to keep it up off the desk. And then I got my microphone, which is on a boom, and my camera, which is on a tripod. And so that's where I did all my work. And what happened was I laid in bed one night and I thought, I wonder if the swing arm swings around this way. So I swung my monitor around and had like an instant movie watching machine in my bed. I could lay in bed, and if I laid down flat in bed, I could actually put the monitor up and flip it down. Or if I'm sitting up in bed, I could, put it out in front of me. And wow, I could just lay in bed and watch movies. And I work nights, so I come home and, you sleep until I wake up, and then I would watch Hulu, watch my shows that came out overnight. And it just was fantastic. So with the camera and mic on a tripod and boom, it was hard to move those. But Amazon has these, I sell stuff on Amazon, and they have these promotions. And about 2 or 3 years ago on the promotion, and you don't get a choice, you get 15 items and you have to pick one of the items. And that's when I got my boom mic, and that's when I started doing these things. And so this time there was a camera, and I thought, it's probably time to update my camera because my camera was already old when I started. And so this camera came with a built-in microphone, so I thought I'd try that out. And it turns out this thing picks up my voice perfectly. And so I thought, well, freed from the constraints of the boom mic and the tripod, I put the camera on top of my monitor, and I'm laying here in bed. I just watched the movie, and now I can just do the movie review. And you can see this bed. It looks small because it's only about this wide. It is a twin-size bed. It's the bed I had my entire life. I'm 58 years old. This bed I've had since I was a toddler, and people make fun of me all the time for having this bed. You can see I'm laying in bed. This is the chimney from the fireplace downstairs, and this is how I watch movies. I would sit here if I'm eating or drinking. I'd be sitting up like this. Otherwise, I could just slide down and lay down. In fact, I feel myself sliding down right now. But yeah. So this is my setup, and since this camera's picking up my voice perfectly, I thought I'd do my first review with the new camera. It is a higher definition, a bigger aspect ratio. So it is my first in-bed knee-jerk reaction movie review. The other thing I wanted to explain is that if you ever notice when you're on Netflix, you get the same 25, 30 shows. No matter what category you're in, no matter how you look at it, you get these same shows. And there's a lot of criticism over, with Netflix because they don't have a good algorithm to search for movies. And my criticism is that when you look at the movie, it doesn't tell you who's in it or anything. But one of the suggestions that was given to me was make a new profile. And with a new profile, it just gives you everything because it doesn't know what your tastes are yet. So I thought that sounds like a good idea. So I set up a new profile, and lo and behold, there's all these movies. And I was just, clicking them and putting them in my list. And one of the movies was this Kung Fu Yoga. Now I didn't know anything about this movie going. I've never heard of it before. It does have Jackie Chan, which I'm a great fan of. And it was in 2017. And I know I've seen Jackie Chan, and he's getting up there in age. But man, he looked young in this movie, and he was doing the moves. And it's a Jackie Chan movie, so there's fight scenes, and there's, he does these acrobatic scenes, and he's known for doing his own stunts and stuff. So he's just got to be in fantastic shape. I didn't, just based on the previews, I thought, oh, this looks like a good movie. And now to the movie. So the movie is called Kung Fu Yoga. And I don't know, I guess it's because he does Kung Fu and the female lead does yoga. But it's a movie about, an archaeologist, and someone comes to him to help find a treasure, an ancient treasure that means a lot to the families of China and India. And I really love these treasure movies and stuff. And this had a Bollywood flavor to it. I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about this movie going in. This is a knee-jerk reaction. But I thought it would be like more of a Chinese movie, but it's got a Bollywood flavor to it. And the first thing, when I first went into it, I'm trying to call up a thing here. It had unexpected, because she wasn't in the preview at all, but it has Disha Patani. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. I just know that she is, and this may sound superficial, may make me look totally shallow, but she is one of the most beautiful women in the entire world. That's public opinion. That's not my opinion, but she is, and every lead in this movie was just gorgeous, and so that was kind of a surprise to me, and that gave it this Bollywood feel. And you're either a fan of Bollywood movies or you're not. They sometimes get out there, but this was a good action movie. Of course, they searched for treasure. They showed how they use modern technology. They kind of played that up a lot to find this treasure. And of course, the treasure goes back 1,300 years, I think they said, and it was one family had stolen the treasure from another family, so both families were claiming this treasure. So the bad guy, and this is always confusing to me, it was like a noble bad guy. So in some scenes he's willing to kill everybody to get what he wants, and in other scenes he's like, he only wants what's his family and everyone can go home. So he's kind of, I call that the noble bad guy, because he's not out to kill everybody. He's not evil. He just wants what he thinks is his, and of course he's willing to do evil things to get it. But anyway, the action scene, I love the archaeological story of it. I love a story that makes sense archaeologically. And so they find the treasure, and this is where it got confusing, because you thought they found the treasure and they got all this gold and treasure, and then they're like, no, there's a bigger treasure, and this treasure only leads to the bigger treasure. And that they didn't mention that in the first part of the movie. So when that revelation took place, it was really confusing. There were other confusing scenes. I'm not saying this movie was perfect in any way, but there's a big fight scene, and you think, oh, they won, they beat up the bad guys, and then in the next scene they're tied up because the bad guys won, and I was really confused on that. Of course, that led to some more action where they had to escape and stuff. But yeah, there were some confusing parts like that where, okay, they're going to kidnap everybody, but now they only kidnap 2 people, and then they didn't kidnap these people, but then these people are, in custody. It was really weird. But it was a great movie. It is subtitled. Some people don't like subtitles because the movie is in 3 different languages. At some points, they are speaking English, so you can kind of look up. I'm on the fence about. I don't mind them, but if I watch a movie with subtitles, you really got to watch it. And one of the things that in the beginning of this movie was that they were talking really fast, so the subtitles were just flashing and flashing. I'm trying to keep up, and I'm missing what's going on the screen. That's kind of annoying with subtitles. But even so, it was a beautifully shot movie, beautiful scenery. They're in ice caves, and they're in golden caves, and they're in big temples and everything. And I don't know, it was just gorgeous. And of course, Dashi Patani. But yeah, I'm going to give this film. I don't think it was absolutely perfect. So like 8 stars out of 10, 4 out of 5. Let's see. The movie had elephants in it, so like 4 elephants out of 5. It is a good movie. It's got a lot of action in it. I love the car chase. When there's like a formula, you got to have a car chase in your movie. So there is a car chase with a lion. Just loved it. And the special effects weren't 100%, but yeah, it was a good. I love the lion, and I wish they could have done more with it. They should have brought the lion back at the end. But anyway, it takes you all over the world. They're in Dubai, they're in India, they're in China. And I'm sliding down again. This might be my last review on that, unless I fix something up better. But anyway, yeah, a lot of action, Jackie Chan type action. When you watch them fight and their arms are just flying, but neither one are connecting because they're blocking, and it's just fascinating to watch. And as someone who's out of shape, you watch it and you're like, oh man. And of course, it's very choreographed, fancy fighting. Throwing people just so their feet hit other people's faces, and the chemistry between Jackie Chan and Disha Patani gets better towards the end, in their fighting styles, because she's the yoga of Kung Fu yoga and he's the Kung Fu of Kung Fu yoga. So while he's fighting, she's doing these yoga moves, and they kind of blend into each other, and it's really kind of neat. And with just all the action, it's kind of like an Indiana Jones movie. In fact, he even spoofs it at one point and mentions like, this is Indiana Jones, and the bad guy is like, you gotta be kidding me, don't reference Indiana Jones. But it wasn't, because he had to have a staff in a room that showed where the treasure was, which was just exactly like Indiana Jones, and that's what Jackie Chan was referring to. He said, this is just like Indiana Jones. But I love these kind of movies where they got to get clues and they follow the clues, and the treasure at the end was more than you could possibly imagine. And the ending, again, it's the noble bad guy. And when he loses, because the bad guy loses, maybe that's a spoiler, I don't know. But it's the way it all comes down is really satisfying. And I, as you know, if you watched my movie reviews before, I base a movie on whether I've been entertained, and I was absolutely entertained, even though, because I was going to put this on as background and surf on my phone, and when I realized it was subtitles, I couldn't do that, so I literally just sat and watched the movie, and it was just totally entertaining. It did have the big Bollywood ending, and if you're not a fan of Bollywood films, you probably don't know what the big Bollywood ending is. But just, that was eye candy at the end. But it was, when you watch, if you're not a fan, how do I put this? I'm an old man. I'm 58, like I said. And I love the dancing. I really do. I don't know. I just love the dancing, the way it's choreographed, the way they move, and the way the background dancers move with the main dancers. And Bollywood movies they excel at that. And the big Bollywood ending with Jackie Chan and, of course, Disha Patani, belly dancing. I mean, it's just gorgeous to watch. But it was a satisfying ending. It fit the movie. Believe it or not, it fit the movie. So, I mean, this movie spans 1,300 years. It shows the original legend that they were following, and it's really interesting. I guess it's true. I'm going to look this up after the review, but I guess this legend is kind of true about transporting this treasure through snowy mountains, and they get caught in an avalanche, and of course the treasure's lost, and that's what they're trying to find. And then the bigger treasure, and that's where it kind of turns into the Da Vinci Code. They're following clues in India to get to the bigger treasure, and he's using his knowledge as an archaeologist. And I didn't notice this until the movie ended, and a little thing popped up that says this is the sequel to another movie. So I'm going to have to look up what this other movie was. I think I still got it here. It's a sequel to The Myth, so I'm going to have to look up The Myth, and Jackie Chan plays the same character in The Myth. But this one, I really loved it. If that one's any bit of good as this one, I'm going to love that one too. So this is called Kung Fu Yoga. Jackie Chan and Dashi Patani. I'm sorry, if she wants to correct me, she can call me. It contains everyone. There's Chinese supermodels in this and everything. And then the main characters, if you watch Bollywood movies, and I've watched a lot of Bollywood movies, I recognize some of the other characters as being in other Bollywood movies. And but it was entertaining. I was really entertained in spite of having to read these really fast, subtitles. I forgot the word subtitles. But yes, so there's some drawbacks there. If you're not into subtitles, you probably won't be into this. There's no English dub for this. Although about a third of the movie is in English, just because they're going all over the world, so they're speaking the languages where they are. And I think that's kind of neat, and American movies don't do that. They would just speak English wherever they go. Kung Fu Yoga, I'm giving it... just because of the confusing parts, I can't give it a perfect score. There was just some illogical jumps in logic. When they win the battle and they're all tied up, that just didn't make any sense to me. And there's a couple other parts like that. But overall, those parts set up big action sequences, and so you gotta watch the action. It's Jackie Chan, and I don't know how he moves the way he does, and the way he flips and uses the objects around him, and then when people are trying to get the objects and he's using that in the fight and then trying to keep it away from him at the same time, it's beautiful. Watching these people fight are just like, it's like watching ballet, only the dancers hit each other. And I've heard that before. But anyway, yes, I'm going to recommend this movie. I give it 8 stars out of 10. Actually, it's a Bollywood movie. I give it 8 dancers out of 10. And but the Bollywood ending, I mean, you can end the film where it ends, and then the Bollywood ending is an add-on. But it's tradition, so you got to watch it. Kung Fu Yoga, Jackie Chan, highly recommended. 4 elephants out of 5, 8 dancers out of 10. I'm Randy. Don't forget to go to Amazon. I do have some books on Amazon. I did sell a copy in Germany for some reason. No, I sold 2 copies in Germany. So I don't know if one person bought 2 books or something, but it's always weird to see, why did someone in Germany buy a book about, in English. But it's fun to see. It's fun to do. I'm going to have more stuff coming out. So just look for Starthinker, look for Randy Pischel on Amazon, and I'm going to wrap this up. Kung Fu Yoga, yeah, good action flick. Go ahead and watch it. Thanks.